My soul contract, it is all steeped around self-love and growth through that process. If you do this one thing, just this one thing, how radically you can move your life forward. You are going to have either committed to yourself and shown up for yourself and done the do like you said you were going to after listening to this episode, and moved the needle of your life forward and given yourself social proof of becoming more of the woman or the man that you said you wanted to become. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Anything Goes with Anna Rose. I am so excited to bring you today's episode. I was completely inspired by myself. By a series of stories I had done on Instagram just yesterday, all around taking you on a day in the life of my self-love ethoses and what that looked like practically applied in my life. And I was inundated with DMs from you all, just sharing how helpful and practical it was to just visually see what it looks like in my life every single day when I live by my ethoses, essentially. And it got me thinking, I want to do an episode. Absolutely. I'm actually going to do a whole My Inner Circle coaching session around it and really flesh it out and go bigger, deeper, wider, more into this, but I am going to give you a bite-sized chunk of it today and really just hopefully activate and inspire something in you to know how simple it can be if you just apply one thing to radically change your life. So I'm going to give you some examples and then I'm going to get you to choose, and then we are going to go on this journey together. So self-love, I talk about it all the time. It is the living embodiment of who I am. It is something that I am deeply passionate about and why I believe I was put on this earth this time around. If you follow me, you know that I have dealt with and continue to deal with a lot of trauma, grief. Shit happens often in my life, but I just have this thing where I'm like, you know what? It's my karmic soul contract in a really beautiful, expansive way. And it is what it is. Katie and I always say, and it couldn't be any other way because it's not. Iwi big bow bin. And Katie is getting that tattooed, by the way, which I love. But I just believe to my deepest core that I'm on this earth to grow through it all. We all are, right? We all are. We are all on this earth for a reason. We all have a purpose. I just believe that mine is deeply rooted and centered in self-love, and the universe, God, source, Allah, aliens, unicorns, whatever you believe in, gives us never more than what we can handle, right? And I think with my soul contract, it is all steeped around self-love and growth through that process. So that is what I'm going to coach you on very briefly today, in a sense, but very profoundly, in that if you do this one thing, just this one thing, how radically you can move your life forward. So what is that one thing? Well, friends, I am not giving it up that easy, in that it is yours to choose. And let me explain. When it comes to self-love, I have a very structured teaching around it or coaching around it. I've actually added to them recently because of my own deepest healing journey of my life. But there are 7, I think now, key ethoses I live by. And they are thinking like you love yourself, moving like you love yourself, eating like you love yourself, speaking like you love yourself, earning like you love yourself, healing like you love yourself, fucking like you love yourself, and self-caring like you love yourself. So there's 8. There was 6. I've just added heal and fuck as well, because they are so core and integral to this whole puzzle piece. So within those 8 ethoses, what I'm imploring, challenging you, encouraging you, activating you to do is to firstly pick one of those ethoses. So either think, move, eat, speak, earn, heal, fuck, or self-care like you love yourself. What I want you to do is just pick one thing. So one ethos. What I would encourage you to do though is pick the ethos that you are struggling with the most right now. Maybe that's eating. Typically for a woman, I have found over the 7 classes I have now done in self-love school, eating like you love yourself is a really big one. So maybe it's that, right? Maybe it's eating like you love yourself. You struggle, you stuff yourself or starve yourself or are constantly on a cycle of binging, purging, starving, stuffing, whatever, dieting, just the vicious cycle. Maybe it's that for you. Maybe it's moving like you love yourself. Maybe you know what to do, but you just cannot seem to get into the rhythm and groove of setting that earlier alarm or committing to yourself that every day, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you are going to lace up and get out that door and go move like you love yourself. Maybe it is thinking like you love yourself. Maybe you're pretty good with your eating, you're pretty good with your moving, but actually, when it comes to your thoughts, your daily thoughts, you still allow negative, toxic, angry, bitter, whatever thoughts to consume your mind. I don't know what it is, but what I want you to do is write them all down. If you need this level of help, right, write each core area down. Think, move, eat, speak, earn, heal, fuck, and self-care like you love yourself. Then I want you to obviously look at those 8 ethoses and analyze where you're at. Then I want you to pick the one area. Okay, the one area. And I actually just want to use heal and fuck like you love yourself. And I want to go a little bit deeper into those in case you're like, wait, Anna, they're the areas for me. And you didn't go into them and I need more of an explanation. So just quickly, in self-love school, when I coach on healing like you love yourself, that's all around the wound work. So we go really deep into identifying core wounds, reprogramming our brains, and rewiring ourselves for new beliefs and sense of self when it comes to your wounds. That's like deep, big work. For the purposes of this one thing and moving the needle of your life forward, when I say heal for this, and I used this was actually the story that got the most replies the other day. It was actually heal like you love yourself. And how I practically applied it to my own life, because this is how I do practically apply it to my own life now, is actually self-regulation. So healing like you love yourself for the purposes of this one thing, for me, I want you to actually more focus on, hey, by the way, if you want to go deep and big on the wound work, please go and do that for sure. But for the purposes of ease, more specifically, and this challenge, heal like you love yourself is more steeped around self-regulation. And what I mean by that is every single day in lots of micro and macro ways, our external environment is coming at us. Now, for many, for women, it's often kids, right? It could be the kids are activating you, you're tapped out, touched out, tired, whatever else for sure. And this is such a big thing we teach in, or I teach in self-love school as well. But ultimately, obviously, is parenting, right? Fundamentally, we are also responsible for reparenting ourselves. And most of us were not raised by conscious, loving, healed parents, and we have taken those wounds on. So it could be your kids, it could be your partner, it could be your boss, it could be your toxic friends, whatever it is. It could be a show sets you off. It could be just feelings of anxiousness, feelings of sadness, whatever it is. But what typically happens in a day when we are feeling those feelings and we are not self-regulating, we project onto others. We take it out on our kids. We take it out on our partner. We take it out on our mom if she calls and we're in a bad mood, whatever that is for you. But something that I am extremely conscious of and take 100% responsibility for in my life is self-regulating, is over the course of the day, multiple times from when I wake up to when I go to sleep to many, many moments in between on the day, I check in. I take a stop, I take a breath, and I actually check into how I'm feeling. And that is actually a superpower of the feminine. We feel. We are feeling bodies. Men are logical and analytical and critical thinkers. We are feelers. So I check in. How am I actually feeling? I take a breath. Maybe I'm actually feeling quite anxious. Maybe I'm feeling really overwhelmed, but I catch it in that moment. I might take some breaths. I might actually take a break and go for a walk. I might just sit with the feelings, whatever it is. If it's like joy and excitement and laughter, I just let that get bigger, right? I let that go and expand in my body. But the point is, I'm aware of my feelings and I'm self regulating across the course of the day. So when my beloved comes home, or if I'm dealing with like people in the team, or if I'm dealing with community, or if I'm dealing with an overflowing inbox or whatever else, I'm never projecting. I'm never coming from a place of projection, of bitterness, of stress, of overwhelm. I take responsibility for my feelings. So I just want to say, maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, ding, ding, fucking ding. This is the area I want to work on in this next 30-day challenge. So maybe that's heal like you love yourself. Okay. It's about self-regulation. When it comes to fucking like you love yourself, again, obviously in self-love school, we go very deep into this in a far more comprehensive way. Firstly, it's always about self. And then if you are in a partnership or trying to call the king or queen in, we go, that's the secondary part of it. But really for me, this is going to be a challenge, if you want to choose fuck like you love yourself, of self pleasure. Okay, so maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, oh, I have not orgasmed or prioritized pleasure, which is as the feminine, our highest priority, prioritizing pleasure. Maybe that's going to be the challenge for you. Okay, so it's not about like making someone else happy or performing for your partner or doing whatever else for the 30-day challenge that I'm going to set at the end of this. Fucking like you love yourself in this episode for the purposes of this particular challenge is all around prioritizing your own pleasure. So that is the core ethoses. Going back to what I just said, I want you to pick one ethos. Then I want you to think about the one thing, just one little thing that you can do for the next 30 days, only specific to that one ethos. So under no circumstances, you A-type personalities that are out there ready to fuck this up and like go all in, do not pick something now and write something next to every single area and try to do them all at once, because that's where you'll get overwhelmed if you are not like the queen at this. This is what I live and breathe. It is as natural and innate and habitual for me as breathing, right? But I'm getting you to this point. So I just want you to pick one area and write down one thing you are going to do for that area for the next 30 days. So if it is moving like you love yourself, you are going to go for a 30-minute walk every day, non-negotiable. Maybe it's eating like you love yourself. It is going to be, I bless my food, which is the practice we do in self-love school, but I eat with presence. So I'm not even talking like change your whole diet and did it. Like I am talking on this beautifully basic but potent level of simplicity but impact. So eat like you love yourself. It could, and massive suggestion, be that for every single meal for the next 30 days, you sit with presence, you bless your food, which is something that I do every meal. So just be grateful for your food, and you eat it with feelings of gratitude and presence, right? Maybe it's that. For heal like you love yourself, it could be 3 times over the course of the day, an alarm is going to go off, and the alarm's going to be called self-regulation. And when that alarm goes off, non-negotiable, you stop for 2 minutes, set a timer if you must, and you are going to breathe, check in, get a check on where your feelings are, and allow yourself to process them. Maybe it's fuck like you love yourself. Maybe for the next 30 days, you are going to run yourself a bath, right? Because fuck like you love yourself does not have to be the act of making love or making love to yourself, making love to another. It is solely and fundamentally at its core about prioritizing pleasure as the feminine. So maybe for the next 30 days, you are going to run a bath and slowly but lovingly and gently and beautifully, rub your body and wash your body and fall back in love with all the crevices and the lines and the creases and whatever else, and send love to your body as you do that. Maybe it is think like you love yourself. And for the next 30 days, non-negotiable, the first thing you're going to do in the morning when you wake up is say aloud, because our words are our thoughts, I love myself, or I am committed to loving myself, or I am committed to changing my ways and, becoming, like, clearing up my thoughts, whatever that is for you, right? So an affirmation in the morning, no matter what. Again, I don't know what this is going to be for you. I am going to highly encourage you to pick an area that you are struggling in the most. That's where the growth happens. I want you to pick the one ethos. And then within that ethos, I want you to write one thing and one thing only. And then for the next 30 days, I want you to do it like your life depends on it, because it does. And at the end of that 30 days, that is going to come whether you want it to or not. That is going to come whether you're ready for it or not. You are going to have either committed to yourself and shown up for yourself and done the do, like you said you were going to after listening to this episode, and moved the needle of your life forward and given yourself social proof of becoming more of the woman or the man that you said you wanted to become. Or you're going to let it go by the wayside. 30 days is going to come and you're no further forward, right? The choice is yours. I always say this is the work that is easy to do or easy not to do. And I want to give you a quick story to wrap this up. But why I'm giving you this practice, and I know all my self-love school ladies know this. This is a story that I tell in, I think it's Move Like You Love Yourself Week. But my self-love journey started, and there's a whole freaking episode on this. Go find it. But when I was 22 at my rock bottom, I got up. I'm not going to share the whole story again, but basically at my rock bottom, when I needed to save my own life, literally, the night that I had hit my rock bottom, I said to Morgs at the time, my ex-husband, I said, I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to move like I love myself. That's where I started. That's why I own an activewear brand today, right? Saved my life. So I said, I'm going to move like I love myself. Now, I didn't join a gym. I didn't go throw weights around. I didn't say I'm going to run a marathon. I didn't say I'm going to run a half marathon. I didn't say I'm going to, get up and do 1,000 push-ups every day or something, the big stuff. All I said was tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to move like I love myself. I didn't love myself, but like I love myself. And the next day, angry, anxious, mad, sick, mentally, physically, I got up 10 minutes early. Like I was be damned if I wasn't going to, and I went for a walk. And I got back up the day after and the day after and the day after and the day after and the day after. And it was cold. It wasn't summer. I remember I was in Perth, lived in Perth, but I do remember it was cold. I always had a jacket on. And I got up every single day for beyond 30 days, right? But for the first 30 days, fundamentally, that was my commitment. For 30 days, I am just going to get up and move like I love myself. And I just set the alarm 10, it was actually 15, because then I would go for a 10-minute walk. So I'd literally just walk 5 minutes up the block at the time, one way, turn around. I wasn't even making the whole block. And I walked back home the other way, 5 more minutes, right? And I think like a couple of weeks after doing that 15 minutes, like getting up 15 minutes earlier, then I felt really good. I was like, I am feeling not amazing, not phenomenal, not life-changing, but I felt better. I just felt a little bit better. And that one decision, as I always say, did not just change my life, it saved my life. And from that one decision of a night at rock bottom saying, tomorrow morning, I am going to get up and move like I love myself. Then I picked one thing within that, which was just a 10-minute walk. From that day forward, it shaped my destiny. It shaped who I am fundamentally as a woman and a human being on this earth today. And I am who I am because of that one decision. I started self-love school because of that decision. I launched Talk Collective because of that decision. I play a big enough game that I launched the Awakened Woman because of that decision. Because what happened from that one decision, picking that one ethos, I didn't have the rest at the time, and then picking one thing within it and committing to it no matter what for 30 days straight and then far, far beyond, was once I hit my stride with that and really anchored it as a part of my new identity, that I was just a woman that moved like she loved herself. That just became part of my DNA. I literally, like a month to 2 months in, said, I'm gonna now, okay, I gotta clean up my food. This was literally my thought. I was like, all right, I'm good. I've got moving like you love yourself. That is now part of what I do. It's who I am. Then and only then was I like, okay, now I want to clean up my food. And that's where eat like you love yourself came from. I said the words, I'm going to move like I love myself. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to eat like I love myself. And again, the foundation was already set. The habit, why do you think I say day by day, habit by habit, every single day, right? On my Instagram stories when I'm moving, because I habit stacked. The next thing I then did, moving like I love yourself never stopped, but I habit stacked. Then became eating like you love yourself, eating like I love myself, little by little by little, day by day, one thing, which was just substituting, right? I stopped drinking Coke. I started to have Coke, no sugar. I stopped having like half a plate of mashed potato. This was my thing on every single night, or like an enormous bowl of pasta. And I would have pasta, like half that mashed potato. And I would have pasta like 3 nights of the week, not 7. And little by little, I changed my eating habits. I always say there's no such thing as bad food, only bad habits. I changed my habits within my eating like I love myself, and I changed my life. Then that just became who I was. You know where this is going. The next habit stack was thinking that, and only then I put that first now because I can coach women on it. And if you're in the container, you know the power of proximity with it. But for me, I couldn't have done that back then. There's no way I wouldn't have gotten to where I got as quickly as I did without doing the moving and eating first. Then thinking like you love yourself came. So little by little, day by day, habit stack by habit stack by habit stack, I fundamentally changed my life and became the woman that I am today. And that is the challenge that I am setting for you in this episode. Pick the ethos, make it one thing, do it for 30 days straight, and I promise you that you will fundamentally begin to move the needle forward on your life. And in 30 days, look back and have this new piece of identity where it's just your becoming, which is super powerful. So I will leave it there. I'm trying to do shorter, punchier episodes. I have had so much feedback from all of you on my shorter episodes going, oh, I love them. I love the longer ones, but I really appreciate the shorter ones as well. So I will wrap it up there. But I did want to say, and it's something that I'll really chat about possibly at the end of each episode. If you love these episodes, which I know so many of you do and are, think about coming and joining my inner circle. You get all of this for free. This is the level and the depth and the passion and the like service that I give to you for free on a podcast every single week. Imagine what you get in a paid container. And it's just $47 a month, and you can cancel anytime. So my inner circle, it's been running 2 months now. I've done a June call, which was all about main character energy and your 10-year vision for your life. July's, which was just bananas, was all around money and investing. I went through my wealth principles, my 8 steps on wealth scaling and creation, and energetics. I went through so much. And then August is all around the masculine and feminine energy, relationships, love, and sex, which I'm super excited about. So come and join me in my inner circle if you wish. Come and find me on Instagram. It's all linked there. I will link the landing page so you can come and have a read about my inner circle as well, a little bit more if you wish, in the notes. So if you want to link straight there, just go straight to the show notes. But as for me, you will see me on next week or listen to me next week. I think this is going to come out when I'm in Europe. I'm 90% sure, 95% sure. So I don't know where I am in the world right now, but I hope you are enjoying watching and playing along. And until next time, stay wild. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, I hope you got something out of this conversation that you can use to challenge your own status quo. If you liked what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you shared this episode on your socials to help get this podcast more out in the world. Don't forget as well to tag me personally at @thereal_Anna Rose so I can thank you personally. If you're also loving the conversations, leaving a review on iTunes by going to the podcast, scrolling down and clicking leave review will help even more amazing humans that need to find me and these conversations find me. As always, though, I am eternally grateful that you're tuning in. And until the next episode, know that I am always cheering on your sovereignty and success.